Delmarva Today with Don Rush.
Donald Trump is returned to the White House. We'll have a look at what that means, both here and abroad. Ocean City Mayor Rick Meehan beats back a serious challenge while voters turned down an effort to eliminate the Wicomico County executive position. And both Maryland and Delaware make history with the election of two African-American women to the U.S. Senate, and Sarah McBride becomes the first transgender woman to be elected to the House of Representatives. Finally, UMES celebrates the 50th anniversary of an historic basketball team. Welcome to Delmarva Today. This is Don Rush. In our studio this afternoon is Coastal Point reporter Susan Canfor. Welcome to the program.
Hi, Don.
So, Susan, as I mentioned a moment ago, we have some historic firsts from both Delaware and Maryland. What do we know?
Yes, and in Delaware, the election turned out to be the year of the woman. Although that wasn't the case nationally because Vice President Harris did not win, there were several victories for women in Delaware. Senator Sarah McBride was elected Congresswoman, replacing fellow Democrat Congresswoman Lisa Blunt Rochester.
I have seen throughout my life, I've seen throughout my career, that nothing is truly impossible. And indeed, when you get past the noise and the far right wing imposed culture wars, and you actually focus on real tangible issues, there's opportunities there for progress.
And I talked to Senator McBride Wednesday morning right after the election, and she said among issues most important to her are lowering high costs that worry workers, retirees, and families, and working on health care, child care, and housing. And Senator McBride told me it's important for all of us who believe in democracy and freedom to fight for those values and protect our freedoms and our democracy against an administration that has made clear they will seek to roll back and clock on our progress and on our democratic ideals. And she was, of course, referring to the newly elected President Donald Trump. It's a scary time for many people in this country, she told me. She said she will be sworn in on January 3rd. Lisa Blunt Rochester was elected to the U.S. Senate, succeeding Delaware Senator and former Governor Tom Carper, who'd been in office for many, many years. He's retiring. Democrat Kyle Evans-Gay, and that's a female Kyle, won as Lieutenant Governor of Delaware. And in District 14, representing the Rehoboth Beach area, Claire Snyder Hall was elected state representative. She succeeds Democrat Pete Schwarzkopf, who held that seat for more than 20 years before he retired, and she's the first woman to hold that seat. I talked to Claire Snyder Hall, who is focusing on the severe shortage of healthcare providers in Delaware.
You know, I'm very excited to be part of this generational change that's happening in the larger society, right? I'm a Gen X candidate, replacing a baby boomer candidate. I'm the first woman replacing a man who's been in power for 22 years. So in many ways, I'm going to build on Pete Schwarzkopf's, the work that he's done.
She said she wants to strengthen public schools and protect the environment during rapid growth and development in Delaware. Also in Delaware, the Sussex County Council is responsible for approving land use requests, but she said she would like stronger environmental laws, especially laws that require infrastructure to be put in place before construction begins. In the Delaware House of Representatives race, Rich Collins easily defeated newcomer challenger Tom Brett. The 5-member Sussex County Council now has 3 new members. Matt Lloyd, Steve McCarron, and Jane Gruenbaum were all elected, and they replace incumbents Mike Vincent, who's been on the council and been the council president for many years, Cynthia Green, and Mark Schaefer. They will join incumbents John Riley and Doug Hudson. In Maryland, former Governor Larry Hogan lost his bid for U.S. Senate to his challenger, Angela Alsobrooks. In Wicomico County, voters defeated the charter amendment that would have eliminated the county executive form of government. County Executive Julie Giordano was pleased.
I think a lot of people were viewing this as a personal attack, and we very much viewed it as this is an executive form of government. Regardless of what happened today, I was going to stay in office for 2 more years. And I think the people really stepped up tonight and really showed that that's the type of government that they want here in this county.
By a considerable margin, with almost 21,000 people voting to keep the county executive position and 17,000 voting to eliminate it. In Ocean City, longtime Mayor Rick Meehan was reelected. He began his political career as a city councilman in 1985. Meehan defeated Peter Buis as the mayoral candidate in a squeaker of less than 200 votes.
Whatever happened over the last 30 days, 60 days. I mean, we have to now reunite and become even better than we were before. And, you learn along the way, too. And if there's some things that I need to do to be a little better, as being mayor, I'm always going to strive to do that. And I'm certainly going to talk to my fellow colleagues. And, we need to be a team. I'm prepared to be part of that team. And I look forward to the next 2 years. I think we're going to have a great council and get a lot done.
Also in Ocean City, there were 4 new town council members elected and re-elected: Tony DeLuca, John Gehring, Jay Matrisic, and Larry Yates.
So turning to something a bit more serious here, which is, of course, there were 7 Salisbury University students apparently arrested for an assault on a gay man. They were charged with a hate crime, amongst others, at least associated, along with first-degree assault. What do we know about this crime?
Yes, we do know that 7 Salisbury University students, all who were associated with a campus fraternity, were charged with first-degree assault and related charges after a hate crime against a gay man at Salisbury University, and the president of Salisbury University is calling that incident horrifying. The crime involved a man being lured to an apartment at University Terrace under the pretense that he was meeting someone he met on a gay dating site, according to Salisbury police. When he got there, he was forced to sit in the middle of the room with 15 men surrounding him, and they struck him and spit on him and called him a lot of names and slurs. The victim suffered a broken rib and many bruises, and police said the 7 men ranged in age from 18 to 20, and they were all arrested. The suspects are Ryder Baker of Olney, Maryland, Benin Aird of Milton, Delaware, Riley Brister of Davidson, Maryland, Cruz Sapitas of Jarrettsville, Maryland, Dylan Earp of Gambrels, Maryland, Elijah Johnson of Crofton, Maryland, and Zachary Lineman, also of Crofton. All 7 were charged with first-degree assault, false imprisonment, reckless endangerment, and associated hate crimes, according to the Salisbury police. Salisbury University President Carolyn Ringer Lepre said acts of violence against those in the LGBTQ+ community are at odds with the values Salisbury University upholds. And Jason Rhodes, who handles public relations at Salisbury University, said hate has absolutely no place at Salisbury University, and he said the university is taking matters as far as we can.
Also in Ocean City, we have a longtime police chief who has retired. Been there actually a long time, ever since I can remember. What do we know about him? What do we know about the replacement process?
He's been there 11 years, but now he's gone, and there's a new interim police chief in Ocean City. He's been on the job for about a week now. That's Captain Michael Colbert. He took over after Chief Ross Buzoro retired at the end of October after 11 years. There's a national search now for a new chief. Chief Buzoro said it had been an honor to serve the town and a privilege to be chief, but he thought it was time to retire, especially before the busy summer tourist season starts next year. Ocean City Mayor Rick Meehan praised him and said he holds the chief in very high regard. The chief is leaving quite a legacy: enforcement initiatives, crime prevention strategies, partnerships in the community. He oversaw operational commands. He managed the police department's multi-million-dollar budget, and he's also known for putting a stop to unsanctioned car events in Ocean City. Ocean City Police Department has 100 full-time officers and more than 100 seasonal officers, safety aides, and civilians on the force.
Also, speaking of law enforcement, we have an update on that new police station in Selbyville, as long as signing an agreement with the police.
Yeah, they're a little crowded there in Selbyville. The police are going to be moving into a new police department, large enough to accommodate the force. They have been housed all these years in Town Hall, and it's just a little too small now. I talked to the Selbyville mayor, Rick Duncan, and he told me that this week he was going to be signing documents to settle on a purchase of property on Clendaniel Street in Selbyville. That's the site of the Thessalonia Baptist Church that last year, right around this time, burned. So that building, the remains of that building are on that property. So the town will buy that property for $205,000, tear the building down, and then build a new police department. And once that new police department is completed, probably in about a year or so, the space the police now occupy in Town Hall will be used for a conference room and for more offices. Also in Selbyville, Town Council this week approved an agreement between the police department and FOP Lodge number 22 and the town. Mayor Duncan said the police has been unionized, but this is the first time the town has had a binding FOP contract. And also in police news in Selbyville, the police chief, Brian Wilson, announced the police department, like all law enforcement agency in Delaware, is forming a police accountability committee known as a PAC. And they're being formed throughout the state to advise police departments on policy, training, community engagement, and education.
And finally, there's a new retirement plan for employees like yourself there in the state of Delaware. I guess it'll help out a little.
It'll help out. I'll be a little less rich every week, but it's for a good purpose. It's called Delaware Earns, and it's starting now. They've been talking about it since the beginning of summer, and it's now starting. It's a mandatory retirement savings plan run by the state treasurer's office for businesses with 5 or more employees. So every paycheck, unless the employee opts out, there'll be 5% less money will be in every paycheck, and then that money will be invested in an IRA, a target date fund that automatically adjusts investments. I talked to Ted Griffith, the Delaware Earns program director, and he said the program is an easy path to save for retirement. It's mandatory, but if a business already has a 401k or another retirement plan, the employees can opt out. Employers are not being asked to match any of the contributions or explain anything to the employees. Everything is being done by the state. And EARNS is an acronym for Expanding Access for Retirement and Necessary Savings. So as a Delaware employee, I'm now a proud member of Delaware Earns.
Well, there you go. Looking forward to the golden years.
Yes, I am looking forward to the golden years.
Whenever they happen.
Not too soon.
We were speaking with Coastal Point reporter Susan Canfor. Appreciate you stopping by and chatting with us.
I always enjoy it, Don.
You're listening to Delmarva Today. This is Don Rush.
Delmarva Today with Don Rush.